about examples of how that can be done. The goal is multiple sites and attractions within a destination, right? And this not rocket science. It's very elementary, pragmatic things that we need to do to build our local economies and make sure that dollar's going around 8, 9, 10 times.
Okay.
That's the only way that black communities are going to be able to sustain themselves and move to prosperity. The goal is to break the cycle of poverty. That's what we came to the northern cities to do on the migration trail, right? We came, and Dr. King called it, we came seeking the promised land. I submit you ain't gonna be no more promised land. It's either go back south, right? Or put your buckets down where they are and create the commerce. And the plan is to remove us from the urban city. So the travesty for me today is to see, when you look at the Black Belt, it ended at 67th Street. We were not in Park Manor. We were not in Chatham. We were not in any of those communities. When we did lift the restricted covenants, the more affluent of us and people who had resources, some of them decided to move into those communities. And they created, for a period of time, Chatham under Harold Washington in 1983 was the most stable African American community in the country. Now, since they've torn down public housing and systematically segregated poor people, low-income people, from the public housing developments who were trapped in them towers. And again, the towers were built with the cooperation of our own black political leadership to contain us. So literally, the entire Black Belt was cordoned off all the way around with high-rise buildings up the lakefront, down Lake Park, right, up State Street, around 63rd Street. And inside of there, you had these pristine graystones of middle-class blacks. White folks wasn't moving into that. So we were there, and those families, I can show you houses in my community that's been there for 3 generations, 4 generations, because you just see it in the house. But that's, again, the moral premise of the family, telling them, making their kids do what they're supposed to do, get their education, pick up the legacy of the family, right? And that's the way you get to the point of having a legacy for the next generation. So all of this stuff is family, extended family, relationships. How do we put our civic associations together? How do we collaborate around our broader self-interest? And how do we do it from a glass table so nobody's trying to do something undercover against the commonwealth of what we're trying to create? That, if I could put one point out, that's the most important point. Because we have too many people who will sell out the community for their own vested interests. If you read the paper, you see what just happened in Springfield, you know that Michael Madigan controls Springfield. This guy Derek Smith is one of his mentors. They mentored him, and this guy took 7,000 or whatever he took, right, which was chump change. He never should have took it, and whoever mentored him should have told him he never should have took it. But now it's a big battle now over his seat, but he's one of those products of Michael Madigan. And I submit to you that the majority of black leadership is compromised at that level. And I'm not going to point fingers to no individual, but when you get to Springfield, what Madigan will do is give you a little money, hook you up. The money ain't legal. You take it, they got a case.